Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today, I want to teach you how to develop emotional clarity and create more peace in your heart by understanding your feelings. And no, I'm not talking about staying trapped or stuck inside your feelings, but rather, we're talking about finally making sense of them and quitting this hamster wheel of confusion. So let's stop the confusion and let's create more clarity. I want to share this with you because it works. It's something that I've practiced for so long now, and I've done it enough times to know that it makes a difference. I've spent hours in meditation, studying psychology and the mind body connection, and honestly, I've just been trying to make sense of my experience, of this experience that I should say, this fleeting, very fleeting experience that we call life. So, in my mid 20s, I had an experience that changed my life forever. Right now, I'm 32, so that was about 8 to 9 years ago, give or take. But I was forced to look in the mirror and I was forced to face myself. And I had to finally see a lot of things that I had been running away from and hiding from for so long. And I came to a point in my life where I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't outrun my problems. I couldn't hide from them. I couldn't ignore them anymore. And I had to learn how to sit with myself and what felt uncomfortable. And I can honestly tell you that I have never had more clarity and more healing than I do right now as a result of that. So now I want to begin sharing this with you because I know how much of a difference it can make in your life. So, before I share this practice with you, I want to mention this. Something I learned from the work of psychologist Carl Jung is that we filter everything through our human perception. And that allows us to create our understandings or how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive the outside world. And if we don't understand how our perceptions were formed, then we don't understand clearly how we are filtering the reality in front of us and the reality within us. There's a quote I really like by Carl Jung as well that goes like this: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And I think that is so powerful because if you just sit down and think of all the thoughts and all the feelings and all the things that go on in our minds that we just don't really sit with. We just don't spend enough time really witnessing it. There is so much unconscious. And until we start bringing that to light, uh, whatever we're left with is what we are using to direct our life and what we are using to say that is our fate, that is our destiny. And so, understanding how our perceptions are formed leads to understanding the roots of our conditioning. Many of us weren't taught how to feel our feelings. And in addition to that, many of us weren't raised in environments that felt safe enough to express our feelings, whether it was in our families, in our friendships, in our jobs. As you get older, you see the patterns that exist in society, right? So many of us were just not taught how to do this. And because of this, many of us have also learned how to hide, how to pretend, or maybe you even learned how to perform. So, in order to experience more clarity and peace in your heart, you're going to need to create that safe environment for yourself. Maybe the safe environment you've never had, because we really need to get present with our thoughts and our feelings. Jon Kabat-Zinn is one of the pioneers in mindfulness, and he's known for bringing mindfulness meditation into mainstream medicine. And he's just someone I started learning from when I began my journey. And one of the things that I've really gathered from his work is the importance of observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. And so let's get into it. When you wake up in the morning, here is what I want you to do. I want you to take 5 to 10 minutes to sit in silence with yourself. All right. And yes, I'm talking about meditation. Now, I just want to mention this because I think a common misconception about meditation is that many of us will say, "Oh, I can't meditate because my mind is just too loud," or "I have too many thoughts and feelings. I can't quiet down." And to that, I say, "Me too." When I started sitting in silence, when I started meditating, it was not as simple as just getting quiet and emptying my mind completely. And in fact, that is not the point that that is not the goal that we're trying to do in our sitting. What we're trying to do is, in that moment of sitting in silence, the thoughts and the feelings are going to come up. I promise you they will. And if you have never really practiced this before, a lot will come up. And if you have tried this before, then you know a lot comes up, right? So the point is to not shut it down, right? The point here is to observe it, to notice it. So you want to be the observer of those thoughts and those feelings, kind of like you're a scientist doing some research on something, right? You're just observing what you see. So the thoughts and the feelings will come up, and the point of it is just to let them come up, okay? And the second part of this is, when you're done in your meditation, open up a journal and write. What you're going to write is completely up to you, or it's going to be relevant to your experience in the meditation. So you're going to write about what thoughts, what feelings, what judgments came up throughout that meditation. Okay? So the more and more you do this, the better and better you'll get used to witnessing those thoughts and those feelings and being able to more clearly identify what they are. All right. So, and another thing I wanted to mention is that there can even be judgment that comes up about the thoughts and feelings that you have. And that's one of the things that I learned through mindfulness work and meditation is that you will have so many thoughts, and sometimes you will have thoughts about those thoughts, right? You will have opinions about those feelings. For example, if you have a negative thought, you might think, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that. Oh, I shouldn't be feeling that way. This is bad or this is good. So that's coming from place of judgment, right? That's coming from juror. And noticing that happening within yourself is a great thing to note on what's happening there, um, what's it in response to. It doesn't have to take that long to do. Um, you don't have to spend a lot of time doing it. I would say even just taking 5-10 minutes after you are meditating to do this is really helpful. And developing just a consistent practice, doing this every single day, even if you just start, even if you need to start smaller than the 5 to 10 minutes, do that. Maybe you need to start with 1 to 2 minutes. To be quite honest with you, when I first started, I went in full force thinking I can do full 10 to 15 minutes. And I quickly realized that was not sustainable for me. And I jumped all the way down to 1 to 2 minutes. So even if you could only do 1 to 2 minutes, start there and then increase over time. But if you get into the habit of this kind of practice, I'm telling you, you are going to notice the difference. Taking these small steps, but very powerful steps, will help you begin connecting with this very human experience that we all share, right? It's one of those things that connects all of us as human beings. Practicing this will help you develop more clarity and build your self awareness, as well as to just stop allowing your feelings to hold you back from that softness, that love, that joy, and that peace, especially that peace of mind that you so wholeheartedly deserve. You deserve it. Promise you. You deserve it.